Today on the show, we are joined by the voice of Michigan hockey, Randall. Welcome to the Griffins Pipeline Podcast.
Welcome back to the Griffins Pipeline Podcast. We are brought to you by the Hockey Podcast Network. I'm one of your hosts, Connor, and I'm here with my brother, Kyle.
Yeah, we are a show brought to you by the fans for the fans. We are not experts, and we are not officially sponsored by the Grand Rapids Griffins or Detroit Red Wings. We bring you the show because we love Grand Rapids hockey, and we want to keep you updated along the way through this offseason.
Yeah, we're not experts by any means. We're just hardcore fans. So a lot going on in the news. So it is the 30th anniversary of Grand Rapids Griffins hockey, and they have released a logo for this season. They had it on a gold background also. It's really cool. It's got the Griffin right in front of the 30, 1996 to 2006, the 30 years of Grand Rapids Griffins hockey. And it's been an absolute blast being alive for pretty much all of them and growing up into the culture and absolutely loving it, having a hometown hockey team that's like the Red Wings, like you pretty much are getting sneak peeks at the future Red Wings. It's just an absolutely amazing time, and it's right in our hometown, so we've had a passion, and we're really happy that it's been 30 years. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's definitely something I have grown to enjoy during my time living in Grand Rapids. It's always my favorite thing to go to town for. Being that it's been 30 years, we're getting old, man. Me and the Griffins.
Yep, you guys are going to break your hip sooner than later. But all right, in other news, the schedule has also been announced. We got the season right there in front of us. We got 6 games in October to start the season. Can't wait. The days are counting down. We're about to go in hard off-season mode here in Grand Rapids, and players are signing, players are going. A lot of players leaving. So far, Tyler Spiza is going to be gone. Yad Bednar is going to be gone. Joe Snively will be gone. Emil Vero signed overseas, but was offered a Red Wings contract, so he might just play overseas this year, not come to the Griffins, or he will. We'll see how that unfolds. And then we have Cross Hannes, who is not offered a contract yet.
Yeah, hopefully Grand Rapids can reach him and get him a contract before he signs elsewhere. But yeah, we have some additions. Obviously, the free agency's going on. The Red Wings haven't made too much of an impact, but we've acquired players like John Leonard and now Alex Canat-Lapierre. Ian Mitchell and Bernard Docker are also in the picture here. All players that could be on the Griffins this season. And then obviously Michael Postava joining the team from across seas.
Yeah, another goalie prospect. I'm really excited about John Leonard. He's a really good, played really good last year for the Charlotte Checkers, going deep into the playoffs, and very skilled player, a perfect replacement for Joe Snively. And yeah, I'm excited to have him. It makes the blow of Joe Snively leaving a little less hard, and I'm real excited.
Yeah, he led the Checkers last year and definitely led them all the way through the playoffs. So he was exciting to watch, and yeah, glad to call him a Griffin.
And then you got your returning guys. You got Elmer Soderblom, Ante Tuomisto, Jonathan Berggren, William Lagesson, and Albert Johansson. Hopefully more. We'll see what unfolds.
Yeah, obviously those guys being signed Red Wings contracts. Tuomisto will likely play the season in Grand Rapids. William Lagesson will likely get some time in Grand Rapids, but those other three, hopefully, they have reached their point where they are up full-time on the Detroit Red Wings. So,
yeah, but we're not going to get too crazy into these players. We're going to get into this later on. So also, the NHL prospect game schedule. There will be no Traverse City prospect tournament this year. The Red Wings will be going up to the Red Wings and their prospects will be going up to Dallas, and they'll be playing on Saturday, September 13th at 8 p.m. Dallas and Comerica Center. And then the next game will be in Comerica Center also, and that'll be a 7 p.m. game on Sunday, September 14th. So I'm not sure where that will be broadcasted. Once we figure out, we will let you know. But
yeah, hopefully they just have a live stream on YouTube like they normally do. Being that this year they'll be down in Frisco, Texas for this game in Comerica Center. It sounds like they will be returning possibly next year to Traverse for 2026 prospect games. So we'll have to keep in touch with that one, see what happens. But it sounds like for the future they will be alternating. But in return, us Griffins fans and us here in Grand Rapids get the red and white game locally right in Van Andel Arena. So we will be there for that.
Yep, and that's Sunday, September 21st. It's pretty much a scrimmage between all the Red Wings and all the Griffins, all the prospects. They divide them up. They divide the teams up to a red team and a white team, and it's a really fun event. You get to really see all the players intermingle, and you can really see some development there, and it's a really cool, fun event.
Yeah, last year watching Lombardi tear it up was a great indicator that he was going to have the season that he had. So always looking forward to see what the players are doing in this event, because sometimes some guys just show up to perform and they bring it right into the season.
Yeah, it's a good chance to get out and see your Detroit Red Wing Stars here in Grand Rapids.
So that being said, we have this interview with Al Randall, the voice of Michigan hockey. He's been the broadcaster for Michigan for 30-plus seasons. This was a great chance for us to talk to him and
pick his brain about Jacob Truscott,
a player signed by the Grand Rapids Griffins for this upcoming season. And he told us everything we wanted to know. So we'll kind of let this interview go here. We'll get into this and hope you guys enjoy our conversation with Al Randall.
So we're here with Al Randall from Michigan Hockey. We're going to talk about Jacob Truscott. He's just signed a contract for the Grand Rapids Griffins this upcoming season. We're going to get into that. So welcome to the show, Al.
Well, thank you, Kyle and Connor, and congratulations on your Griffins Pipeline podcast, which I understand is quite successful, and that you two young men do just a fantastic job on it.
Yeah, thanks a lot for that. We're here today to talk about you, as you have quite a long history of, broadcasting and doing a lot of recording yourself. We'd like to hear from you about your past, about what got you started, and how your connection to Michigan hockey.
Well, it's been a fun career, and of course, hockey has always been not a secondary, but it's always been an additional job to whatever job I was working at the time. As you know, and as most young broadcasters know, you don't make a lot of money working radio or working the columns in the newspapers, so you have to find supplementary income, which came in the form of a high school hockey broadcast for the Alpena Wildcats back in 1976 and 77. That's a long time ago. And I was fortunate enough to go in front of the school board and also the athletic director. And he said, well, you can't do Friday night games. And I said, why not? He says, we don't want to cut down on our crowd. It's small enough now. And I tried to explain to him that if you start broadcasting the games, people get interested in the sport and they'll pour in through the doors, which is exactly what happened after we started broadcasting Alpena Wildcat hockey back in 76, 77 season, and did that for about 19 years. And it was a lot of fun. There was I just had the opportunity to see the 93 state championship Wildcat team up at the Alpena Sports Hall of Fame dinner, which honored them a couple of weeks ago. And these guys are all in their 50s now. And I said, gee, I'm getting up there too. But I don't feel like it. It's a fun job. It's been a long trek. But I was getting a little tired of traveling on weekends, and I told my wife at the time, I said, I think I'm going to stop broadcasting hockey. And I had just been turned down by the Detroit Red Wings, who had an opening for Bruce Martin, and they didn't even listen to my tape. They just sent me a thank you letter. So I said, I think I'm done. I'm not going to go any further. And she said, well, quitter. You're not thinking about this right. You ought to be thinking about who's going to get that job, and whoever gets that job is going to leave an opening somewhere. That opening was at the University of Michigan, as Ken Kell was hired from Michigan after 11 seasons, and he was hired by the Detroit Red Wings. Matter of fact, Red Berenson drove him right down and told Scotty Bowman, hire this guy. And they did, and that left an opening for myself and 54 other candidates that applied for the job, and I was fortunate enough to achieve it. Red Berenson only had one question. He goes, how are you going to get from Alpena to Ann Arbor for every game? I said, Coach, you don't have to worry about that. And he said, good, because I won't. So, but that's it. That's how it started, and it's been a great 30 years broadcasting for the University of Michigan. It's quite a program with a lot of great people, starting with, of course, the coach Red Berenson, who coached that team for 33 years and took a program that was kind of in disarray. And I don't think the university will mind me saying that. It was, and they hired the right guy. And this guy built not only a program, but a family, a culture of Michigan hockey that has gone through throughout the years and has been a successful program, as we can look in the NHL right now and find over 30 players playing actively in the NHL and doing a pretty good job too.
Yeah, and then we got Dylan Larkin as our Red Wing guy, having a Wolverine as our captain. That's awesome, because you don't get to see that in sports much. See like a Michigan guy actually go all the way up to be the captain of the Red Wings.
Yeah, and it really is something. The Wings with several Michigan players there, and and I was fortunate enough to be able to broadcast the games throughout their college careers and watch them grow. But they're everywhere. I mean, it's hard to turn on a game today without watching, you name the teams, and I'll watch the game, and there'll be Michigan players playing in that game, and also other college players, and we shouldn't put that aside, as college hockey has become the really the best resource for pro talent in the NHL, because of the fact that the players play longer against bigger, better, and older competition. And so I believe the NHL has discovered that as well many years ago, and have started drafting college players very high throughout the last 15, 20 years. And it's been a great program that Red built, and gave these players the foundation. And he said, you're not going to all be pros, but you're going to learn. And you're going to be a Michigan man. And that's what's the most important thing about Michigan hockey, is being that Michigan man.
Yeah, so going to what you said there about Michigan players and just their ability and access to how the NHL has paid attention to these college players, and do you think that has to attribute to the facilities, the amazing facilities you guys have down there?
Yost Arena, there's been some criticism of it. It's not modern. It's not modern enough, et cetera, et cetera. And but the Yost Arena has an aura. It has. You walk in there, and the ghosts are hanging in the rafters. Along with the national championship, CCHA, and Big Ten banners from championships, and it is well visited by many. And they pack that place every single game, even if it's an exhibition game against maybe a Canadian university early in the year. They'll pack that place. They love it. It's quite an experience. And it's one that I've treasured and will always treasure for the rest of my life.
Yeah, absolutely. I really like the way the windows look in the stands, behind the stands there, and the banners hanging from the walls, like you said, and it's just an absolutely beautiful arena. I actually like the vintage feel to it.
Yeah, and guys, it's a cathedral. It really is for not only hockey but college hockey, and for the University of Michigan. Very proud of that venue, and that venue with that's etched in his handwriting, the Red Barons and rink in the along the ice is it sends chills. I was fortunate enough to be able to drop a puck between now Griffin Jacob Truscott and at one of the games in November. And they allowed me to come out. Red Barons gave me a letter jacket, honorary letter jacket, years ago, and I wore that and was able to drop a puck between a Notre Dame player, their captain Silyanov and also with Jake Truscott. And Jake, of course, one of the best captains, only the ninth time in Michigan history that a captain has been named for more than 2 years. And he really deserved it. He now playing for the Griffins, and you'll see him in the lineup, and you'll see what kind of a player he is. He's not a flashy Paul Coffey going to skate from one end to the other and score 15 goals. He's a guy that'll shut you down, and he'll keep that team together. As his leadership qualities were shown this year, and all the years he played with Michigan, and he was awarded by the NCAA and a vote of the people in the NCAA, the coaches and players, for the Derek Hines Award, which signifies, I think, the best award in all of college hockey, showing leadership qualities and all the things that you don't measure on a score sheet that are recorded by coaches and fans.
Well, that is just absolutely amazing to hear. Thank you for dropping that. I mean, personally, that's exactly what the Griffins need, is that type of player coming into this next season, is someone who just exudes that level of leadership, confidence, and brings an aura to the team that maybe not necessarily going to put points on the board, but is just a steady, reliable, someone to count on as games go on throughout the season.
Yeah, we've definitely lacked the leadership role here, I feel like, in Grand Rapids. I feel like we got a lot of young players, and that's not always, I mean, we got all these high-end prospects, but that's not always a recipe for success in the AHL because it's more of a leadership league. So having someone like Truscott come up, I know he's still young, but just to embed that leadership into the culture, that'd be really cool to see.
He's got a great foundation. He played for Michigan for 5 years. 1 year was kind of cut short. His last game was in Minnesota. He scored a clinching overtime or late in the game, third period goal to beat Minnesota on their home ice. And he did that, I guess I can say it now, with a broken wrist, and which is fully healed. That was over 3 years ago. But he did a wonderful thing, but he was out for the rest of the year because of that. But he played. The determination and the fortitude that he displays each and every shift came right to the top when he scored that game-winning goal in Minneapolis.
Love to hear it.
Sounds very heroic, for sure.
Yeah.
With a broken wrist, that's insane. Most people,
When you talk about Michigan, you can also talk about some of the stories that you don't hear. You see the goals, you see the assists, you see the behind the scene things, the win at Minnesota, all that. The things you don't see is how the players listen to a Jake Truscott and how they follow him, and how he keeps the team molded together. Teams, as you guys know, go up and down emotionally, not only in a period but throughout the season. And you need a stabilizing force back there, and most of the time it comes from the blue line. And if you have that, you know you've won. And you listen to him and you believe what he says. And sometimes you're doubting yourself, and he's there to back you up and encourage you to keep you going. And he'll do that for the Griffins as well.
yeah, I'm excited to see that. And he hasn't been bad on the point board. I mean, he's This year he played 36 games. He had 16 points. That's almost a half a point per game. I mean, for a defenseman, you can't really expect much more than that. He had 3 goals and 13 assists. I mean,
You bet. And the things that he will tell you though is he won't talk about that. What he'll talk about that he led the team with 56 block shots. That's the badges that those defensemen wear. How many shots did you block? How many rushes did you stop? How many times you were on the ice on the other team's power play and the 3 guys that go to battle on that shorthanded situation. That's what they like to talk about. What they don't talk about sometimes is how good they are, and that he was a Big Ten honorable mention several years as a defenseman, and he was Big Ten academic, a selection for Michigan for all 5 years that he played.
That's incredible. It just shows the intelligence level, the ability to lead a team, the ability. I think this is a great signing for Grand Rapids. We're super excited to talk to you about him, and you're delivering everything we want to hear so far. So,
well, I'll probably tell you some things you don't want to hear, but and Jake he's a local guy. He's
we're here to hear it. So
he's from Fort Gratiot, which is up by the Port Huron area, and it's funny, but he and several players play against each other that used to be on the same team, and but it all comes to roost. The cream comes to the top. I know you hear that all the time. You go, oh my gosh, cream come to the top. Oh my, but it does, and that's Jake Truscott, and he's just part of that Michigan story. That that you see year after year. You can talk about so many different players. I could talk about the other 25 players on that team and tell you something good about each and every one of them because they're Michigan men. I can also go back to the last championship in 1998, and we'll put a name right out there right now. Marty Turco. He won 2 national championships. He won 127 games as a goaltender for Michigan, which will be a record for goaltenders in the NCAA that'll never be broken. Even with the 5 years that some players played goalie, doesn't come close. And he was drafted. He ended up with the Dallas Stars. And now he's the chairman of the Dallas Stars Foundation. What does he do? He raises money for charity in the Dallas area. He is a well-respected person. He has more wins, of course, than any other Dallas goaltender in history. However, that's not what he's most proud of. He's most proud of his family, the kids he raised, and all of the different things that Marty Turco means to the Dallas community, and how he's in youth hockey, raising funds for them. Anybody wants to have the Dallas Stars help them raise money, he's there for them. And he's one of the players that was on that 98 championship team. Josh Langfeld, who scored the game-winning goal as a freshman in overtime. He's another one. What does he do today? He assists orthopedic surgeons in surgeries, repairing athletes, knees, hips, whatever they need repaired, as he is a consultant in that business. So he helps on surgeries each and every week. And that's Josh Langfeld. And he's got a great family. He's a great person. He scored that game-winning goal. Who gave him the puck for that game-winning goal? Well, it was Chris Fox. And Chris Fox is a neurosurgeon in the Chicago area. Chris Fox flew by helicopter back to Ann Arbor to the U of M hospital to operate in a serious operation on Red Berenson's son, Gordy, who in a tragic accident in a 3-wheeler while going out hunting, fell down a hill and had a serious head injury that was almost unsurvivable. They flew Chris Fox in, a defenseman from Michigan, who is now a neurosurgeon, into U of M hospital. He performed that surgery and saved Gordy's life. And Gordy's walking around today, and we all know that story. But so there are the stories about championships. There are stories about winning, and there are the behind the scenes stories of Michigan men as the cream rises to the top. and each and every one helps their community. Captain on that team was Matt Herr. Matt Herr is, he works for the NHL in youth development for hockey programs. He's coached. He's been all over the East Coast. He was a great leader for Michigan on that team. But he's another one that you can point to and say, hey, here's a guy that is doing something to help communities all over the United States as Matt Herr goes around helping organized hockey and youth hockey and working for the NHL. So the stories behind the stories are the stuff that you really love. It's great to talk about games. It's great to talk about assists. And it's also better to talk about the character of these players that Michigan gets each and every year and the successes they have, not only as a player, but as a human being.
Yeah, that is some truly amazing stuff. Some of those stories you're saying, wow.
Yeah, what Michigan creates is something else. It creates better people in this world, and I think it's eye-opening to hear, and just, I mean, shouldn't be shocked, right? They came out of Michigan, so
yeah. I mean, we both bleed Mason blue over here, and that's kind of the reason. It's the kind of people that are there, and it's all great people who want to help others, and very intelligent people also.
Well, I've kind of taken over your interview. I apologize for that. They sometimes can't get me to shut up over here, but it's been a lot of fun for me, and very rewarding to watch young men grow and then develop and then go on with their families and with their programs and with their livelihood. Because Red Berenson told each one of these players, hockey ends someday. Then you have to decide what you're going to do for your living. And these players like a Chris Fox, like a Matt Herr, like so many of them, Langfield and Turco, they all have learned the message from Red Berenson, and that program continues today under the leadership of Brandon Naurato and his great coaching staff and his players that he has on the team.
Awesome. That should pretty much wrap us up, really. I mean, thank you very much for your time.
Well, again, you guys got a standing invitation. Come on over and see the venerable one, Yost Arena, and come in and enjoy a hockey game and go blue.
Yeah, we definitely have a lot of hockey games to make it to, and Michigan's at the top of the list. We're definitely going to maybe even start trying to hit multiple different arenas. We need to make it down to Toledo. We need to make it down to just as many different places, because there's different hockey cultures everywhere. And I think just being able to experience each one for what it is, and I think being able to be a part of Yost Arena, and if you're giving us an invitation, that puts it right to the priority top of the list. So
yeah,
there you go.
Well,
Connor and Kyle, people can follow me at Al Randall, the number 2. So it's at Al Randall 2 on X. I'm there. I don't have a lot of followers, but I do on the radio, and that's what's important. But I'm also on Instagram at al.randall2 and Al Randall Higgins on Facebook. So if anybody would like to look me up, have at her and follow us. We have some interesting stuff there from time to time.
Awesome. Thank you so much for taking.
So that was our interview with Al Randall, the voice of Michigan hockey. Apologize for the abrupt ending. It seems our connection was lost. We are very thankful we got through the whole interview. We just want to make sure, Al Randall, that we appreciated your time. And thank you so much for joining the show to discuss Jacob Truscott.
So that was an awesome interview that we got a chance to talk with Al Randall. Amazing to hear the time that he's spent and the dedication that he's put into the team, and how much it's mattered to him over time. And I think me and Connor understand the Michigan hockey in Michigan as a college in general, and a lot of these colleges around, they try to bring the best out of all these people coming through their school.
Yeah, and it's some of the stories he talked about in that interview are really amazing and inspiring. And that's the kind of stuff you get with Michigan hockey. So thank you very much, Al Randall.
Yes, thank you very much. It was our pleasure to talk to you.
So now we are going to get into the penalty box. Welcome to the penalty box. This is the final segment of every episode. It's our one chance to step out of hockey and put someone into the penalty box for a 2-minute minor, 4-minute double minor, 5-minute major, and a game misconduct. Kyle, who are you throwing into the penalty box?
So today, it's Upper Deck cards. They're probably one of the highest recognized brand of sports cards, athletic cards. So it was posted on Reddit that I noticed it, that Simon Edmondson was not Simon Edmondson on his Upper Deck card. It was actually, in fact, Shane Gostisbehere on the picture and all Simon Edmondson stats on the back.
Yeah, it had the wrong jersey number and everything.
Yeah, it was just one of those things you'd expect a professional card company to get right. And I'm sure for all those people that actually collect cards, I'm not necessarily one of them, but this is just a situation where you get the card you want if you're a huge Simon Edmondson fan, and you get that. Man, that's got to be frustrating.
Yeah, and like we said before on this penalty box, that's more something you expect from us to do. Make a mistake like that. But not for a professional card company. Not good. Have fun in the box. How long you putting them in for?
This one's going to be a 5-minute major because you just shouldn't make that mistake. And Simon Edmondson being a first-round pick, and you're putting Shane Gostisbehere on the card. I mean, I like Shane Gostisbehere, but Simon Edmondson is not a ghost.
Have fun in the box. So who I have in the box, there's a video on YouTube. There's these people like driving out of a neighborhood, and this guy comes flying from behind them, goes off the road into the ditch, goes up back on the road, blocks the road, and he runs out of the car, and he's like, "You guys have been soliciting in here. I chased you out last week." And they're like, "Who the heck are you, dude?" And he's like, he starts screaming profanities at him. And he's like, "Are you soliciting in here?" And they're like, "We're going to pick up our guy." So yeah, I don't care if someone's soliciting in your neighborhood. I mean, obviously it's annoying. Everyone hates the solicitors, but that does not give you an excuse to drive like that outrageously.
Yeah, he crashed his car into the side of the hill and then pulled back on the road to block it. Very interesting concept. I don't know if you're achieving the goal you desire by making that move, but you definitely smashed your car pretty good. They got off just fine. You just cussed at them a little bit.
Especially when they're just there to pick their friend up.
All they're going to do is laugh at you, dude. Just like the rest of us.
Have fun in the box.
How long you put them in for?
5-minute major. Remember we agreed? Do you remember we agreed that aggressive drivers all get 5-minute majors?
Oh man, what kind of agreements am I making? I'm probably going to end up in the box for 5 minutes.
Yes, I am a very aggressive go-kart driver, so don't even try. I will Jeff Gordon you, man. But all right, yeah, that should wrap up the penalty box and the rest of this episode. A great interview with Al Randall. So we got more fun interviews coming up. We have Lars Thorzel. We got a fun interview with him. The rest of the interview we had with him for the draft. And this is a full interview. We talk about Michael Brandt-Nygaard, Axel Sandin-Pellikka, and a bunch of other Swedish players. So, and until then, enjoy the rest of your summer and go Griffins.
Go Griffins.
Thank you for listening to the Griffins Pipeline Podcast. If you enjoyed the show, give us a 5-star review. We are part of the Hockey Podcast Network. We are not partnered with the Grand Rapids Griffins, Detroit Red Wings, or Toledo Walleye. We are not experts. We are just die-hard fans looking to make a community with others alike. Let's go Griffins Nation. Join the fun, like, and follow us on Facebook and X, or call into the show and have your opinion heard 1-616-319-1175. Thank you. Grand Rapids Griffins, Toledo Walleye, and Detroit Red Wings. Players, coaches, websites, and social media. Thank you AHL.com, NHL.com, ETL.com, EliteProspects.com, and anyone else putting out information on the teams. Until next time, go Griffins. Go Red Wings, go Walleye.